Okay, good evening, everybody. Good evening and welcome to our call for tonight. And we are going to go ahead and get started here. Now, make sure I'm being seen here. And it looks like we are live, so we'll just go ahead and get started. So I'm going to pick it up tonight from this, from the training that I did on April 13th on how to create a business from your PLR. And this is part 2. And since we're going to be kicking off Extreme Business Makeover on tomorrow, and the first session is going to be on Thursday, then we want to go ahead and finish up on this session. So we're going to pick it up from how to maintain your business with PLR. If you want to be part of Extreme Business Makeover and you are not an Ultimate Insider, you can still be part of that course. You can do that at the plrshow.com/PSBF, right? And if you go there, you'll be able to become part of Extreme Business Makeover. So in last time, we just kind of talked about, I'm going to fly through just what I did last time. We talked about USP and all the things that you're going to need to be doing to build up your marketing assets. We talked about last time the first decision that as a marketer, information marketer, you've got to make. We talked about the fact that you've got to decide whether you're going to be involved in what's called the MMO or make money online market or niche. If you're not going to be part market, and indeed that's a very small part of the market, but it's a very active part of the market, and it's where a lot of people start. And so that's why I, tell people, well, look, you've got to try to make a decision as to whether or not that's where you're going to operate. So we talked about that last time. We talked about what the right outline is, what the right business model is. Then maybe basically what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to pick a niche. You're going to have to niche it down. You're going to start to create some kind of continuity program, and you're going to start a weekly workshop, and then you're going to start releasing your PLR products as offers on a regular basis. We're going to talk about that tonight, and that's where we're going to pick it up. And then you're going to pre-sell those releases in your workshops. You're going to drive traffic to those workshops. We're going to talk about that tonight, and then you're going to repeat the process. So that's the business model, and it doesn't really matter as to whether you're going to be doing the make money online market or whether you're not. This is going to be a solid business model that always works. Okay, we talked about picking a business related niche last time. We talked about then creating an offer with your most recent PLR. So in other words, taking what you have and then using it as raw material to turn it into something where you're going to be making an offer, right? That offer is going to become, your product. That basically, you're not relying on the PLR itself to be a product. You're basically creating a product from the PLR, right? We talked about that last time. We talked about moving on to Creative Video Learning Center, which is really the same concept, which is basically you're taking the video and the content you have to create a learning center or a membership so that people pay one price and they get everything. Right now, obviously, you're going to niche it down. You're going to give people more, right? You're going to give them more than what they're paying for, but that's the basis of it. It's the same thing as Netflix, basically, right? You're going to keep it hot. You're going to keep it, keep it cutting edge. You're going to make sure that there's always something new. You're going to make sure that there's something relevant. You're going to make sure that there's something that's going to really teach people. You're going to make sure that there are always things going to be helpful there, and you're going to surprise people with the things you're going to be putting in there. But at its core, it's going to be, a lot of your PLR inside the video membership. Right now, we talked about last time that that's going to take you 2 days to build if you build it solidly, but you want to go ahead and do this from the beginning and get the basis of it made. And quite frankly, it's not necessarily all that important the way you build it. As long as the value is there. Now, we spend a lot of time in e-learning playbook talking about the way you build it, but quite frankly, what's most important is that the value is there and that you've proven the value is there before the person actually becomes part of it. And then we talked about last time that what are you going to do? And it's kind of a mid-step. You're going to start doing a weekly workshop, right? And this is where you're going to build trust. One of the things that, people, and I'll put myself in that category, at the beginning, you really feel like, well, man, do I really have what it takes to offer someone something right? Where they're going to want to pay monthly for it. And one of the ways in which you build up that trust, one of the ways in which you build up that, you build up the reserve of, let's say, of people being able to say, you know what, it might be worth it, is to do a weekly workshop where you were delivering solutions on a weekly basis, where you were delivering content on a regular basis. And, if you're doing a podcast, all those kinds of things form the basis of you building trust with people. And that's the way that you're going to be doing that. We talked about the fact that you want to do this on a weekly basis and you want to provide solutions every single week. And then we left it off at that point that once you're doing that, and once that's a regular occurrence, what you've got to start doing in every workshop is you've got to start making sure that there's a new release for people. And yeah, I do recommend that if you can do it, right, that you have something new every week. Right, you are releasing something. You're giving people something in order to test their trust with you, because ultimately, what's your goal? Your goal is to get them into your learning center, and the way you build that trust is you do a release at the point at which you do your workshop, and you say to people, "Well, listen, I've got something where you can get a bite-sized version of what I'm going to be offering you in the learning center." Right? You're going to do that on a regular basis. We talked about that the last time. That's pretty much where we're going to pick it up. And we talked about the fact that what you want to do is start by building a launch calendar, right? And you're going to be doing what I call the product snowball formula. Knowing that you don't have to use Warrior Plus in order to do that. What's the product snowball formula? That means that you're going to do small releases on a regular basis, and you're going to use those releases in order to build trust and to build your list. So with every person that buys from you, you're going to automatically add them to your autoresponder list. Right. And again, most people are going to think they're going to have to use some kind of, you might think that you're going to have to use one of the affiliate networks. You don't have to do that. Right. As long as you're doing this on a regular basis and you are giving people the opportunity to sample what they're going to get inside of the member area, but making sure that you're going to set a price to it. Now, again, people are not just going to get your free stuff and then jump into your membership. That's typically not how it's going to happen. You want to make sure that you do set a price, and your pricing is going to vary based on what it is that you are delivering. But you want to give people the opportunity, once you've trained them, to again see if what you're talking about really pans out. See if what you're delivering really is going to be worth paying for, right? And you should be doing this on a regular basis. And the only way to really do this is for you to set a calendar, right? You're going to have to set a launch calendar. Now, you may be in the process of putting together your learning center, and you may be in the process of maybe putting a funnel together. All those things are good things to do. But at some point, if you think that you are going to just automatically release things on a regular basis and you don't need a calendar, you probably will not do it. If you put a calendar together, and if you put yourself and make it public that you are going to be releasing things on a regular basis, you will do it, right? You will keep a launch calendar for the sake that you have put yourself out there. Again, one of the reasons why you need to start doing a weekly workshop is, again, so you can set this whole process in motion. When you start doing a weekly workshop, you will need to have something to sell on a regular basis. I know that it's likely that you already have enough PLR that you could launch on a weekly basis, right? And if you can't, you can pretty much get something on a regular basis and you can launch it on a regular basis. Now, again, you might say, now, I don't really have a list. I don't really have people that are going to be buying on a regular basis. How am I going to be buying PLR on a regular basis? Typically, what you're talking about is that, let's say that you make one purchase every single week. Right? You're probably going to be talking about one that you've got to get your investment back by making a sale. And again, if you're driving people to your workshop and you are asking people to come to that workshop and you are making an offer every week, you're going to increase your opportunities to get sales. And that's really what you are trying to do. You definitely want to start by doing holiday sales and important dates. You want to be consistent with your launches. So whether or not there's going to be a holiday or not, you want to be consistent. What I say is that, sometimes you might have to pick a day. Thursday might be your day. Saturday might be your day, but you want to have a regular day that you're releasing. Now, again, maybe there's a period where you're putting together the funnel and all the other things that you're going to have when you make the offer. But at some point, right? Don't spend a year putting your funnel together. You want to make sure that you are at the point where you have set a launch calendar and you are launching consistently with your weekly workshop. Once you start getting traction, right, you start using, bundles of your PLR to develop a funnel. Now, this is something that I have said in the past that if you're going to do this, you're going to offer bundles. Kind of be careful with the pricing, right? You don't necessarily want people to assume that that if they just wait long enough, then they're going to be able to get your product for less, right? If you're going to put together a bundle, what I like to do, now this may not always be possible, is to put something together with the anticipation that you're going to eventually do a bundle, but that's not going to be your regular product offering, right? But definitely do have a bundle or something that you can put in the funnel that's going to be different from your regular offering, so that people get something where they can pay a little bit and get quite a bit, right? Now, you may go ahead and launch it on the front end, but your regular offerings are not going to be your bundles. Also, you should be developing an inventory to add bonuses to your offering. So whatever you're doing, right? When I say develop an inventory, that might mean that these are things that would be worthy of being a regular product offering, but these are things that you can use in order to add a bonus when you make an offer. Now, once again, I do not suggest that you take one PLR product and you offer it straight up exactly as it is with the sales page exactly as it is. I never suggest that you do that. I suggest that you always, and I don't care what it is, right? I suggest that you take a PLR product and you turn it into an offer. And one of the things that turns a product or a launch into an offer is the bonus that you offer, right? But you've got to develop an inventory in order to do that. Now, again, that's going to take a consistent creation of products in order to do that. Now, at the beginning, you're going to have to probably spend a period of time where you are building up that inventory, right? And then again, when you're just like you're pushing a boulder up a hill, or all of the energy in a rocket launch happens at the beginning. When you're launching this business in this way, you're going to do a lot of work on the front side. So again, if it sounds like it's a lot of creation and it sounds like it's a lot of work from the beginning, it is. But if you do this the right way, where you're developing this inventory of bonuses at the beginning, when you start doing a launch calendar, you're going to find sales easier to make. And you're going to find that you're going to have a lot more value to offer. You're going to be more confident in the offers that you make. When you're doing a launch calendar, make sure that you have a page building system that's easy to manage. Easy for you to manage is what I'm saying. Don't go get a page building system just because it's hot, just because it's cheap, just because you saw it and it was a launch and you got it and you were able to get it at a great price. That's not a good reason to do it. What's most important, even if you've got to pay more for it, is that you are able to manage it. So if you can't manage it, it doesn't matter. I will tell you that from my own perspective, people will ask me, well, why don't you use, let's say, I don't know, Builderall, or why don't you use, Optimize Press 3? I have Optimize Press 2. Why do you use that? Because it is easy to manage. Because it is easy to manage. It is easy for me to manage. Now, I'm not saying it's going to be easy for everyone to manage. Optimize Press 2 is good enough. And it's easy for me to create a page using that page building system and to keep up a launch schedule. But what's less important is going to be the prettiness, and it's going to be the fact that you were consistent about your launch calendar, right? You've had to be, this is really as important as you doing a weekly workshop. And doing a weekly workshop is vital. That's what kicks this whole process off. We talked about that the last time. But just as important is your launch calendar that you're going to be regular at. Now, you can use buy buttons. Typically, right? You can just put a buy button on the HTML page you get with the PLR product, or you can just put it on your own page, right? It really doesn't matter. Again, what's most important is the structure, right? Don't get caught up in the fact that it's going to be. Don't get caught up in the trappings. Get caught up in the doing, right? And then again, if you're doing this on a regular basis, you're going to have something to sell. That's the important part, is having something on a regular basis to sell. Now, again, I know that you probably have enough PLR on your hard drive right now that if you just created enough offers, you can create an offer on a weekly basis. There's enough, right? And if you don't, even if you don't use PLR, if you learn something and you want to teach it, you probably got, most marketers right now, right, that I've met have an inventory of 20 things they could teach as part of a product. Right now, they could take a PLR product, they can bolster it up underneath there to make it into something. Most people. Right now, I want you to just start thinking of everything that you know and you know how to do. Now, again, that doesn't mean that everybody's going to buy it from the beginning, but you've got to get in this in the habit. You got to get in the rhythm, in the motion of putting together a PLR, putting together a launch, right? Whether or not you choose to use PLR or not. What you've also got to do is you've got to train your own affiliates, right? Train your own affiliates. You might want to use affiliates in order to make referrals. And so the system that you use is going to be important. You've got to pick the right system for the traffic that you want. You got to pick the right system for your affiliates to get paid. Warrior Plus and JVZoo is hands off, right? That's one of the benefits of that system. In other words, your affiliates, when they get their affiliate link, they're going to promote. They're going to see their statistics. You're not going to have to tell them. They're going to get paid automatically. Right now, again, you got to be willing to operate inside it to make money online market. There are a lot of things that you got to make sure they're going to be relevant to that. But if you're going to operate inside of make money online system, then basically operating with Warrior Plus and JVZoo is hands off. Right? You don't have to do anything to get your affiliates. Now, you do have to make sure you get the right affiliates, right? Please do not just let anybody who's anybody promote your product. That's not what you want to do. In fact, I'll tell you, and you may have experienced this. I really am very choosy about affiliates. I'm taking the direct opposite approach that most people do with Warrior Plus JVZoo affiliates. I do not let a lot of people promote our products. And the reason is because I want to make sure, number one, that they're experienced in promoting PLR. Number two, that they represent our brand effectively. I want a brand ambassador. I don't just want somebody who's going to bring me sales, because oftentimes somebody who can bring you sales isn't always going to bring you the right customer. Right. There are a number of stipulations. I mean, I've got stipulations on our PLR and all those things from the beginning. If that person doesn't know how to promote us, it's going to cause me more headaches. There's certain sales, all sales are not created equal. So don't let anybody and everybody promote your PLR. ThriveCard's hands-on, right? You're going to have to be involved with your affiliates in order to use ThriveCard, but it is a system that for the most part works. You can use Teachable. Now, Teachable is hands-off. Now, again, you may not want to use Teachable for your courses, you got to pay a fee, but once again, it's a hands-off system. Gumroad is hands-on and hands-off. Once you're gonna be selective about your affiliates. You're gonna have to give them certain things. It's not automatic. They're not going to see their statistics, but they are going to see their statistics. I take that back, but you're going to have your business model to yourself, right? And that's one of the great things about Gumroad. And I've been talking about that this week with our Gumroad PLR launch. Affiliates do need to be able to see what they earn, when they earn. They need to see when they're going to be paid. And there should be a wall between your customers and your affiliates. So in other words, you may want to make your customers into affiliates sometimes, right? So you don't want there to be this perception from your payment processor that you're basically running some kind of multi-level system. You don't want to do that. You want to make sure that your customers are your customers and they're not buying in order to sell, right? You don't want to give that impression. You don't want to have that on your pages, and you need to make sure that there's no indication in your sales process that that as soon as they become a buyer, they can then become an affiliate. That the only way they're going to become an affiliate is they got to become a buyer. You don't want to have that in there, right? And again, I know people do that. I know that people who don't intend to say that, but the payment processors don't like that, right? And anyway, it's a little bit shady, so don't do it. So make sure there's a wall between your customers and your affiliates. Then, I mean, this is going to be probably the thing that people really want to know. Okay, so now that I have these offers, now that I have this regular workshop, what am I going to do? How am I going to get people to become part of it? There's not going to be any magic bullet, but there's things that you can do. There are ways for you to drive traffic. And basically, just by doing a weekly workshop, you're already doing it. If you start doing a weekly workshop in a Q&A, and again, I'm not saying that you have to do a Q&A that I do, right? I do a Q&A on Saturday also, and you don't have to do that, but I think it's a good touch to do. You need to start getting people to come to your weekly workshops because that's where you're going to build the trust. Yes, you can show them your sales page. You ultimately want to get people to your sales page. You're not going to avoid sending them to the sales page, but you want them to come to that weekly workshop on a regular basis. Once you get that infrastructure in place, once you know where you want your people to go, you know where you want them to be. You should have a home base. So, I was talking about this on a bonus call inside of a Gumroad product today. Andy Brocklehurst and Kurt Crowley was talking about on the bonus call. They were saying that you can use Gumroad for this entire process, right? You can have Gumroad for your home base. If you're not going to use something like that, you need to have a blog. You got to have a place where people know to go to get your stuff, right? You got to have a website. Now, again, I know that you can have multiple sites and multiple brands and all of that stuff, but people need to know basically where they can go. And you need to have a home base. So part of the process of driving traffic, part of the process of having a workshop is establishing a home base, right? And I don't think that this should be your Facebook page. When you have a Facebook page, it is rented space. They can decide at any point they don't like the way your business model works. They don't like the way you're running your group. They don't like the way you're running your page, and they can shut it down. I'm not saying they will shut it down. I'm not trying to be a negative Nancy. I'm not trying to say the sky's falling chicken little, but I am saying it's not yours. You don't own it. So you need to put together a home base. Is that going to be your blog? It could be, right? Is that going to be, I don't think it should be social media. Right. So don't rely on it being your Facebook. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't have a Facebook page, but don't rely on it as home base. One of the things you can do to drive traffic is grow your social platform audience. What do I mean by social platform? Your social media, right? All your social media, Facebook, Twitter, and all that stuff. Make sure you're growing your social platform on YouTube, right? Whatever you're doing on video, you should be releasing it on YouTube also. Right. And again, I mean, you can get into this as deeply as you can. I'm going to suggest that there's a book that you're going to buy, that YouTube formula. I think I've said that before. I think I've got a link to it here. You can purchase traffic, right? You can get your social media ads and YouTube ads, right? You can do that stuff. I do suggest that you understand your conversions first. I don't suggest that you go buying traffic until you really understand your infrastructure and your business model. You can do search ads also. Right at this moment, right? I think that the traffic is really where you're going to get the most for your effort, right? Even if it's all it's going to be is a few visitors at a time, it's going to be YouTube. Now, again, even as I say that, right? Even as I say that, please do not rely on YouTube, right? I mean, really, please don't rely on it. Don't rely on any social platform at all that you're getting for free, right? These places do not exist to run your business. And the only reason that YouTube is going to send you traffic is because you are going to keep people on their platform, right? Now, your job when you're on YouTube, right? If you want them to help you, you've got to help them by keeping people on their platform, right? That's the deal. You're making a trade. You're being a content creator, and you are keeping people on their platform. That is how and in exchange for that, they're going to send more people to watch your videos, right? That is the traffic that you're going to get. Now, that's not necessarily a way for you to run your business. You shouldn't be relying on that, right? You shouldn't make that the entirety of your business. I see, I've got a question here. So where do I think the best place to build a home base? You'd rather not use Facebook to be distracting. I think that you need to build a website. Now, again, I know a website's old fashioned, but it's still just it's still the best way to brand. It's still the best place to send somebody that you belong to. If you rely on anything else, it can be taken from you, right? Anything else is going, and the last thing that people are going to take from you is going to be your website. And it's where you have the most control. Yeah, I suggest that you build a WordPress or a Wix workshop, a website. If you don't want to build one like that, you can use Blogger. But again, you use Blogger, that's rented space. So again, I wouldn't say Blogger's the place. I suggest you get a self-hosted WordPress website or a Wix site, and then you use that as your home base. That's a very great question, right? So yes, that is where I would suggest you build your home base. If you're ready to commit to, now, you know, when I even as I say that phrase, I sound like I'm about to pitch you on something. I'm not about to pitch you on this book. And yes, this is my Amazon link, but I don't care whether or not you go get this book. I just want to let you know that you're going to be talking about 12 to 18 months of being consistent if you're going to do it on YouTube. What I will tell you, though, is that the people who are doing it are finding it to pay off. So if you're willing to be consistent, it's an easy thing to be consistent doing, right? It's not hard to do. It doesn't cost you anything. So again, I suggest you go read this book. And I don't, if you don't want to, I mean, I don't care if you read it or not. Even if you know what you're doing, you don't have to read a book, right? Pretty much, YouTube is going to be, make sure your thumbnails are going to be right, make sure your keywords are right, making sure you're consistent about your content. But whatever you do, you're going to be 12 to 18 months before it really starts to reward you. But I'm going to tell you this, please do not do it because 12 to 18 months is too long. It scares you off. 12 to 18 months is going to pass whether or not you do it or not. And so if you're going to invest in something, and if you're going to invest your time in something, you want to make sure you're going to invest your time in something that has a formula, right? And that's what this book is talking about. I say master one traffic technique, right? You need to invest time in one traffic generation technique, one, right? If it's going to be YouTube, it's going to be YouTube. If you need to buy a course, buy one course, and you work at that traffic generation course until you get it making you money. Really and truly. Don't do 3 courses. Don't do that. And that's okay if you're going to say, okay, well, I'm going to do Facebook ads, and you buy 3 or 4 Facebook ads courses. That makes sense, right? What I'm saying to you is master one traffic generation technique. It really does work better if you buy one course, you master the method, right? Buy books on the subject, right? And I will say this also. Please be careful about joining a Facebook group. There are very few that you're going to be able to join that are going to give you consistent value. You're going to be able to rely on the information, right? Please do not just think that I'm going to join a Facebook group. The Facebook group is going to be magic. I'm going to get all this great advice. People are going to encourage me. Folks, I've seen so much bad advice in Facebook groups. I cannot tell you. And because there's no moderation on people's opinion, you just need to really be careful, and you got to really trust the opinions you're going to get out of these, and you got to really know the people. So don't just think that, hey, they got a Facebook group, that's how I'm going to do it. Please make that the last thing you do. You got to systematize everything, right? But you got to have a go-to method of getting traffic. And I say you got to have this outside your email list. Now, your email is the best traffic you're going to get, sending people to your list, but you got to have people in order to build that list and engage that list. And so you've got to do that. Even if you have an email list, you got to have one main traffic method. What you're going to be doing is taking your content and putting it in front of the people that you want. And typically that's going to be your weekly workshop. If you're doing a weekly workshop, you've got more than enough content to put in front of people. If you're not doing a weekly workshop, you gotta work up the content. Most people don't have content because they're not doing a weekly workshop. If you would do one live weekly workshop, as I have been teaching, right, ever since the end of 2020, if you will just do that, you will have enough content to use all week. If you will do that every single week, you will have bonuses, you will have content, you will have everything that you need in order to run your online business. But again, you probably won't believe me until you start. Okay, so again, master one of these techniques. Do YouTube, right? You can do that one. You can do audio podcasting. That's going to be cheapest, right? You can do that on anchor.fm. If you're going to do a podcast, do a podcast and work it like work it like you can't work anything else. I mean, really work it. Forsake all others, like they say at the, when you get married, right? Forsake all the other traffic methods so you master one. If you're going to do podcasting, don't do YouTube. If you're going to do YouTube, don't do podcasting. Do social and viral, right? If you're going to do Facebook groups, dive in, right? If you're going to do Clubhouse, dive in. You're going to do Twitter, dive in, right? Do one, right? Master one of them. Don't try to do all of them, master one of them. If you're going to be a blogger, right? Master blogging. I suggest WordPress self-hosted, Wix or something. If you're going to do something like a viral traffic, we talked about the Complete Up app a little while ago, or Up Viral, master it, right? Just do one and master it. All right, you can do contests and sweepstakes and all that stuff. You're going to do some of the informational, educational marketplaces. Some people focus on these things, right? This is something that, some people can do. You can do Udemy. You can do Skillshare. Anyone, right? And I think there's also Amazon and the Amazon marketplace, right? You can do Kindle, right? And again, some people are not doing Kindle just because, for making book sales. They're doing it to drive traffic, right? They're launching books on a regular basis. Again, you got to master one of them. But if you will master one of these, right, what you're going to do is you will then be able to build into other traffic methods. But you do have to master one so that it is delivering you enough customers that are helping you to not only sell your products, but to also come inside of your continuity program. And as you begin to master these things, you can build into the other traffic methods, right? Decide on one way and convert your workshop content. That's what you're going to be doing. Right. Now, whatever you're doing, whichever way you're going to pick, you can hack that one way, right? I said hack your medium, right? So I'm saying you've picked one. So what can you do to hack it for extra traffic? Now, this transcends which medium you're going to have, right? This transcends whether you're going to do if you're going to do a Kindle, you're going to do YouTube. This transcends that, right? You've got to be able to get the traffic of other people, right? That's how you're going to hack your media. What do I mean by that? And you do that through interviews, right? That's how you're going to be doing it. Interviews of other people. You could do that through guest trainers, which is pretty much an interview, except that the person is going to be teaching. Same thing. Russell Brunson talks about that. He calls it his Dream 100. Right now, I wish I invented it. Such a cool name, right? The Dream 100. He got that from Chet Holmes. And basically, you're going to find the 20 people in your niche that you're going to put them on, right? You're going to promote them. You're going to serve them. You're going to make sure that they have, that they get everything they need. And all you're going to ask for them in return is for them to allow you to promote them on a webinar or on an interview, on whatever it is that you're doing. Who you're going to go get, right? Kindle authors, right? They're hungry for traffic. You can get Udemy creators. They're hungry for traffic. You can go to Harper Reporter. And you can also find these people in your local area, right? They're going to be hungry for traffic also, right? Think about some of the local associations, right? Local business associations. Think about Alignable, right? You can find these people. These are people who are hungry for traffic. Think about meetup.com, starting your own meetup. Again, these are all ways of you being able to take your medium and then hack that medium by getting other people involved and getting their traffic, right? Or getting them to help you to send them traffic, right? So again, pick the medium and then hack the medium. Get the medium, hack the medium. Right now, any questions? Any questions? Any questions? Okay, make sure that you're going to be part of our Extreme Business Makeover, right? You can do that at plrshow.com/PSBF. Going to be starting this Thursday, right? We're going to go be all of these methods. We're going to go through them step by step, right? So we're going to be walking through the traffic building and the building of your business. If you're not part of our newsletter, make sure that you're part of it. You can do that by going to the plrshow.com. You can get our free PLR Academy. right? When you do that, right, you're going to be given access to our teachable learning center, and then you're going to be part of our newsletter where we talk about PLR every single day. So make sure you do that if you don't do anything else. But really and truly, if you want to position yourself as an educator and you really want to put your PLR to use, or even if you don't want to use PLR, and you've got this helper spirit, right? You've got the desire to make the world a better place. You've got the desire to teach people, become an ultimate insider. We're going to help you to position yourself as an educator. Everything that I talked about, right, in this call is basically what we're working on. And except that I don't have time to do it all on this call, but I do have time. If you're an ultimate insider, I will help you do that. Right now, there's a video course that my buddy Francis Ochaco is releasing. We're adding in 3 additional PLR video courses when you pick up his course, right? So make sure you check out Francis's offering. If you go to the checkout area, you'll see our additional 3 courses along with it. Now, if you've been listening to this any length of time and you say, boy, this has really been helpful to me, if that's been the case, I'm going to ask you to do me a favor. I'm going to ask you to go to the plrshow.com/shout and give us a shout out. And what that does is that helps us to be able to, put your words on our sales pages and on our workshop pages, so people know, hey, I like to come. You need to come to this workshop because you're really getting help, right? And so I want people to know that real people are getting help at these things. And so if you'll do that, that'll help me to spread the word about this Tuesday workshop and about our Saturday Q&A. Okay. Okay. So the link for Thursday. Yvette, you're an ultimate insider, so you'll get that inside the member area, right? So ultimate insiders don't pay for this. So that'll be so mainly the link is going to be for people who are not ultimate insiders. Okay, so Kay says, I struggle with consistency. I really want to be an educator. Yeah, you know what? That really the reason I really focus on that is because you can't always be the expert coming into a market, right? But you can always be an educator, right? You can always be an educator, but you can't always be the expert, right? You can always walk into any market, and if you will be consistent, you will find that if you stick with it and you do a weekly workshop, what will happen is you will outlast everybody who is top dog, right? Now, again, don't get me wrong. You got to hustle, and you got to hustle hard, but this will give you structure, right? This will give you discipline, and this will give you a way of being able to get in motion. And that's really the most important thing that I find with information marketers, whether they are inside the make money online niche or whether they are outside of it, is getting into a rhythm instead of trying to hit a home run and trying to hit a big, big home run with a big launch. And again, nothing wrong with that. I think you should do that. You can get started by getting on base, right? And doing a weekly workshop is like getting on base. Like it's like hitting a single, right? If you're into baseball, it's like you get a single, then you get another single, you get another single, you get another single, and before you then you've knocked in one run, as opposed to waiting to hit a home run with every bat, right? Okay, so once again, you can do that. Again, if you are wanting to become part of the Thursday session, this Thursday, you're going to start with Extreme Business Makeover. We are going to start the course, and we're going to start with teaching on the strategic marketing playbook. Right? Okay, so thanks very much, everybody. Appreciate y'all being out here. Have a great night and a pleasant tomorrow. Take care.